We looked up some words that have been said about you.
Okay.
Crazy, Q-clown, Looney Tune, unhinged, moron.
I've got a few more. Osama bin Karen, a dimwit, a doofus, a dummy, dumbass. I'm only a third of the way through the D's.
Looks like the average troll in my Twitter feed.
A good argument for misogyny.
This is Marjorie Taylor Greene. She's a three-toed sloth from Butt Lake, Georgia, where people think Deliverance is a rom-com. I call her Dairy Queen, Waffle House, Cracker Barrel, but what I really need to call her is what she really is, a cancer. Now, while stupidity is strong with this one, even comically so, underneath it lies a danger.
Not only do we have the D.C. jail, which is the D.C. gulag, but now we have Nancy Pelosi's gazpacho police spying on members of Congress.
We have an Islamic invasion into our government offices. They want to put their hand on the Quran and be sworn in? No.
She suggested the Parkland and Sandy Hook school shootings were false flag operations and that the attacks of 9/11 were staged. She touted conspiracies from the fringe group QAnon.
I just want to say to Nancy Pelosi, she's a hypocrite, she's an anti-American, and we're going to kick that bitch out of Congress.
Gas prices are high now. Just wait until you're forced to drive an electric vehicle. Exactly.
And can you tell me why so many people that support Donald Trump love conspiracy theories, including yourself? He seems to attract lots of conspiracy theorists.
Well, let me tell you, you're a conspiracy theorist, and the left and the media spreads more conspiracy theories. We like the truth. We like supporting our Constitution, our freedoms, and America first. So,
what about Jewish space lasers? Tell us about Jewish space lasers.
No, why don't you go talk about Jewish space lasers? And really, why don't you f off? How about that?
Those are kind of funny, but Dairy Queen has a weird and darker side. The latest is she believes judges who oppose Trump are committing treason and deserve to die. We'll get to that in a second, but first, a por favor. Please subscribe to Really American on YouTube and help us defeat these MAGA chimpanzees now and moving forward. And if you do, por favor, I promise to never try and speak French again.
We're a nation that speaks English.
Back and look, if something like this, that thing's so goggly.
Okay, a little history on Cracker Barrel. She's not bright and a 9/11 truther to boot.
Witnessed 9/11, right? We had witnessed 9/11, the terrorist attack in New York, and the plane that crashed in Pennsylvania, and the so-called plane that crashed into the Pentagon. It's odd, there's never any evidence shown for a plane.
Before she ran for Congress in 2020, Waffle House created a White House petition in January of 2019 to impeach Pelosi for crimes of treason, citing her support of sanctuary cities and serving illegals and not United States citizens, and because Pelosi didn't support Trump's border wall. But she was already suggesting that Democrats who oppose the GOP should be shot, like Nancy Pelosi.
She's Georgia Republican Congresswoman and QAnon supporter Marjorie Taylor Greene. The K-Files' Andrew Krasinski shares a byline on the story, joins us now. So, Andrew, what more did you learn about the Congresswoman's views and comments?
So what we found was that Marjorie Greene in 2018 and 2019, and this is before she ran for Congress, she was a conservative commentator, posted on Facebook a lot. She repeatedly indicated that she supported executing Democratic members of Congress, including House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. There was a post in which, and this is really graphic stuff, somebody said a bullet to the head would be an easier way to remove Pelosi, and Greene liked that comment. She also repeatedly liked these comments about executing members of the FBI who she claimed were part of the deep state conspiracy against President Trump. And sort of the backdrop to this was she was leading this petition to impeach Pelosi, saying she was guilty of treason, and she gave many speeches in support of this. And in many of those actually also, suggested that Pelosi could be executed for treason. So there was just many of these comments.
And I think we just put it on the screen, but did you get a response from the Congresswoman or anyone in her office?
So the interesting thing about her response was we asked for comment, and then, almost like 2 hours before we posted the story, they sent out a tweet, and she didn't deny that she had made any of the comments or liked any of the posts, but she said, over the years, I've had many people manage my posts. Many posts have been liked, many have been shared. Some of them did not represent my views, especially the ones CNN is about to spread across the internet.
That's rich. Just like the Republican congressman with child porn on his laptop says, I don't know how it got there. But Dairy Queen was just getting started.
Because they want to have sex with you. That's why they're in there. That's real. They're not saying, oh, I identify as a woman and I'm only attracted to men. That is a lie. These are sexual predators.
And now Lady Waffle House is calling for the deaths of judges who thwart Trump by following the law and the Bill of Rights.
What he's doing with the border and other things, and he's getting these activist judges, these Democrat activist judges, and the way to get them out is to impeach them at the congressional level. How and when are you going to do that, aside from all the other things that's on your plate?
Well, I think that would also definitely be a good vote record for the American people to see. I don't think Republicans would impeach these judges. I hope to be wrong, but I would like to hold that vote. And I think it would be important for America to see that vote, because let's be real honest, Eric. These judges that are blocking the president's deportations of criminals, cartels, murderers, rapists, child abusers, drug dealers, and more that are illegal aliens and really do not deserve due process in the United States of America. You know, there used to be a time where we would call that treason, because that's exactly what it is.
All right, a couple things. These judges like Boasberg, they were appointed by George W. Bush, and Boasberg has ruled more than once in Fat Donnie's favor. He ain't a liberal. But what is worrisome is Miss Piggy chortling on and encouraging Second Amendment wackos to attack these judges, a clear and present danger for our democracy.
She's a radical war hawk. Let's put her with a rifle standing there with 9 barrels shooting at her, okay? Let's see how she feels about it. You know, when the guns are trained on her face.
But these judges are doing what they swore to do, interpret the law based on the Constitution. Using her logic, the fact that SCOTUS ruled against Roe while 70% of Americans favor choice means Democrats should impeach and imprison Thomas and Alito. But that's what MAGA does. That's why there's so many federal judges and why their appointments are for life. I mean, they can be impeached, but it would take 67 votes in the Senate. And with Trump's popularity dropping like his man boobs when he peels off his girdle, Republicans won't go for that.
They had what?
And as these videos prove, there's a dark malevolence behind MAGA and its poisoned chubby sows calling for violence.
Maybe that all these scary things that people talk about on what's considered conspiracy sites and conspiracy theories really may be true.
And the whole thing is exacerbated by Greene, who actually still believes that Q is a person and the Democrats drink babies' blood.
According to him, many in our government are actively worshiping Satan.
Now, while Dairy Queen's congressional district looks like a hee-haw reunion, it's even worse. The high school graduation rate in her district is right around the same as Pete Hegseth's blood alcohol content. And all they want from her is the equivalent of shaking up a carbonated beer and spraying everyone. And she does just that. But of course, only 12% of the students in her district can read at grade level, which is apparently something she's shooting for as well.
These are interesting things to look at. And so I wanted to talk to you about them. I'm not presenting them that they're fact, but I am presenting them that I'm hoping they're facts.
Dairy Queen doesn't seem like a threat. I mean, she's not bright, not intuitive, and possesses not an ironic bone in her body, which makes her perfect for Trump's posse of mouth-breathing GEDs.
What would solve the whole thing in the border if they would just start shooting?
And while Americans are pondering how to survive the next 44 months, Miss Cracker Barrel is looking for a way to increase her relevance while in the shadow of this freak. And while she continues to threaten judges and elected officials, this time with death, Margie, the divorced, cheating human pork rind, is making a name for herself. And what might that name be? I don't know what he said, but it sounded like Margie to me.
Goddamn right.
Tara! You're an idiot!
I may find some parts of the story to be offensive.
Indictable.
Out of sheer morbid curiosity, I'm allowing this freak show to continue.
I don't want to talk about this stuff.
Am I wrong?
Yes!
Tick-tock!
You're in a lot of trouble, Donnie.
I think he's crazy.
I'm Chip Franklin.